कैसा लगा आपको?
I'm loving it.
अगर मेरे से किसी ने 2005 में भी पूछा होता कि बर्कोस कहाँ की चेन है, तो आई वुड हैव सेड आई डोंट नो, मतलब डजंट लुक इंडियन.
It takes a lot to create a brand. It takes a lot to be visible.
One franchisee mistake that you made? And
I think we decide. I think you don't have that control. I don't recommend franchising.
like once a friend of mine from college, he visited my restaurant. He said, यार नहीं कर. I said, why? He said, because मुझे ये तो नहीं पता कि रेस्टोरेंट चलेगा नहीं चलेगा, पर तू खराब हो जाएगा. Have you shut down restaurants?
Yes. By the time you shut the store down, it's already caused a lot of damage. And this business, till the time you're not really passionate about the business, it's a tough business.
What are the subjects or areas of the business you still want a very tight control?
So I think biggest kind of tool to improve ourselves as feedback. We take that very, very seriously. Today, it's nearly contributing to nearly 35% of our business. Really, credit goes to for creating this opportunity for us.
Wow.
Yeah. Brands are not created with discounts. Discounts and all that is very short-term pay, and it's like a slow cancer. I would say that for anyone getting into the restaurant business, I think today, I mean, it's never been a better time.
The current generation does not want to toil their time at the restaurants. What's happening? 1982 is when you started Berco's in CP. What did it look like then? What did CP look like then, actually? I would want to know that first. फिर आते हैं Berco's पे.
I guess 82 CP was always kind of the hub for all the shopping and all that. And we were originally, since my grandfather's time, in the music business. You know, we ran Berco's, which was used to be selling cassettes and CDs and music systems and radiograms and all that.
Berco's as a brand was actually a music system brand.
Business. Yeah, that's the original.
Okay.
And then we got one more floor over there, you know, and we decided to open, my father decided to open a video game parlor. And slowly, in about a year or two, the video game parlor started, that business was dying down, and we had a little snack bar over there. We were selling chow mein and chop suey and all that. And then I think he had the foresight at that time to decide, because there were no other Chinese restaurants, and we were one of the first Chinese restaurants to open, and an extension of the snack bar. And soon, within 6 months of that, unfortunately, that business was started by my father and my chacha, and my father passed away, and I had to come into the business. And when it was about 6 months from the time that we had started the restaurant there. And
what year was that?
That was 1984, actually. Yeah. And that's when we started it. And
मेरे को हमेशा लगता है कि रेस्टोरेंट बिजनेस में कोई अपनी इच्छा से तो नहीं कूदता, सब एक्सीडेंटली इसमें आ जाते हैं. बट फॉर यू इट वाज लाइक वे टू अर्ली. हाउ ओल्ड वर यू देन?
Must have been about 24 years old or 20. Yeah.
And Berco's. So did you convert Berco's into a full-fledged restaurant?
No, it was a snack bar where my father decided to convert it into a restaurant. And unfortunately, he passed away soon after that, and I by default had to come and, you know, then manage that restaurant.
What were the, you know, I always am intrigued by this, and I think this is also going to tell you about my admiration for what you have built. My college days, early, you know, days, I'm a, you know, through 90s, late 90s and early 2000s, Berco's was actually one of the probably only brand that looked like an organized, you know, restaurant chain, if I may call it that. And I don't think most of the Delhiites, while they know Berco's, I don't think they understand that it is an Indian homegrown, you know, brand. And at least that was not my perception for sure. अगर मेरे से किसी ने 2005 में भी पूछा होता कि Berco's कहाँ की चेन है, तो I would have said I don't know, मतलब doesn't look Indian, or at least doesn't look like that it's it is started in India.
Right.
What was that journey and what led to that? Because you let me also define that. What was the difference between a restaurant chain or a restaurant brand that came from outside, especially Western countries, versus Indian? यूनिफॉर्म्स नहीं होती थी सर्वर्स की, ब्रांडिंग कंसिस्टेंट नहीं होती थी, बेसिक थिंग्स लाइक पेपर नैपकिन के ऊपर आपकी ब्रांडिंग होना, it's normal table stakes hygiene today.
Right.
Late
Wasn't
90s, early 2000s,
Yeah.
definitely not. Like nobody was even looking at it. So there were definitely elements where you made sure that Berco's is perceived a certain way, looks a certain way, conducts a certain way. What was that journey, and how did you learn, or what did you like? How did you inculcate all those I would not say values, but the nuances of the business that just makes it class apart?
I guess one, I think it had something to do with the cuisine itself, because it was Chinese. At that time, there were no really specialty Chinese restaurant. There was Nirula's had a Chinese room at one time, and Akasaka and Fujiya were already there at that time. So this was one of the only kind of a casual dining Chinese restaurant. So maybe that's what maybe had given that international flavor to it. Because if it was an Indian restaurant, you may not have felt the same way. But yeah, and I guess the whole idea was, we had, of course, like Lalit and Deepak Nirula were role models at that time, and the way they had conducted their business. So you kind of copied a little bit of that and started off with doing it like that. And that's the only thing we did. So you probably want to just put in your best effort with whatever you have. And there was no vision or aim to open more restaurant. It was that restaurant which we just wanted to make sure it was successful.
The CP one.
The CP one, yeah.
No, that's a great one, because
Yeah.
Nirla's was the trailblazer. They actually were the ones who were way ahead of their time always.
Correct, yeah. And so that was the inspiration maybe that time.
And till what time there was only one restaurant, and when did you start
So
expanding?
I think then our second outlet was in Noida, which was a good 8-9 years after we opened the Connaught Place outlet. In the middle, I'd opened another Italian kind of concept in Housecar's Village at that time, which had called Duke's Place, which was, when I'd come straight out of college, and, I was very excited, and we opened that. That did very well. It had live jazz music and French and Italian cuisine.
In 90s?
In 90s, yeah. And it was with another partner, and we ran that for quite some time till Housecar's Village was really doing well. And then Housecar's Village had its own challenges. There were, different issues, but that was the one we did next. Then Noida opened, and then, which was, I think, good 10 years after that, probably 92, around that time. And then, after that, then one by one, we started opening.
मैं अभी ना सोच रहा हूँ, sorry, but 92 में नोएडा था?
It was not.
Very hard to define this question, but I'm actually wondering कि 92 में नोएडा भी
it
था?
was ahead of time, one corner of Noida, but that restaurant yet exists and does very well with God's grace. Yeah.
कहाँ पे
Sector
नोएडा?
12 Noida. Yeah. And it's yet there. And we yet run that.
चोर बाजार तब था वहाँ पे नोएडा में?
Much later. Much later. We were one of the early restaurants that came into Noida.
Got it. And this was your own store? Or?
That was our own store, yeah.
So, and then, I mean, take me through this journey of expansion, right?
Yeah,
so 10 years
we opened Noida, then
we
we opened Janakpuri, then we opened many stores, and then about maybe around 2000 we decided to start.
Janakpuri is the district center one.
District center one, and then around 2000.
मैंने वहाँ बहुत खाया, मैं college जो बोला वो वाला time. Janakpuri district center was a cinema that I used to.
Correct, and then we opened. Then around 2000, beginning 2000, we started franchising. And then we started opening a balance of company-owned stores and franchise stores over a period of time. Then we got into food courts, and then we got into different models. And that's by default. There was no plan actually.
Everybody, what is really underrated is that, how the second store took 10 years, and then another store took a couple more years before you actually pressed accelerator.
Yeah. Correct.
It actually was growing under the ground rather than, above it. franchising versus own stores remains a big debate.
Right.
जिसने franchising कर ली है वो बोलता है कि अपने खोलना, franchising मत करना.
Correct.
जो अपने कंपनी ओन स्टोर चला रहा है वो franchising को देख के बोलता है यार ये इनका बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है, इन्होंने बिना पैसे के इतना कर दिया. You have 50-50.
Yeah.
Your 50% stores are
Yeah.
franchisee, 50%.
Yeah.
What's your take?
See, I think franchising is a great way to grow. But before you get into franchising, it's very important. We learned the hard way. And it's very important to control various aspects of the business before you decide to do that. So I think supply chain is the biggest one. Till you don't have control, complete control on supply chain, you should not even consider doing franchising.
एक बार आप थोड़ा break down करिए. What do you mean by supply chain?
Supply chain means at least the key raw materials that go, like for us, it's the sauces. That's the key to maintain consistency across all products. The raw material, the chicken and all that can be decentralized, but the sauces should be, kind of centralized. And the sprinklers and sauces, which actually bring the taste in the food, that kind of gives a standard experience across all stores. Also, it reduces the dependency on skilled manpower, So till that is not under control, I don't recommend anyone to franchise.
So when you say supply chain for your sauces, sprinklers, or your key ingredients, what do you mean by that? Like,
Means we centrally make them and supply them to all the stores, so that the recipe is standardized and the taste is standardized across all stores.
And is it a logistical problem, or is it like, what do you mean when, like, to a newbie who's watching, what do you mean by having full control over your supply chain? आपके केस में क्या था और अब क्या है?
Yeah. So initially we would kind of make every sauce, every dish centrally, and at every store separately. Today everything is fresh, everything's at a store, but the base sauce is centralized. So wherever you go, the taste of that particular dish will be similar across all stores. So till I think you don't have that control with yourself, whether you make it in-house or you outsource it is not relevant. Today there are a lot of great vendors available to outsource some of these, supplies. I don't recommend franchising till then. Secondly, control over, today technology is amazing. Companies like yours do some great stuff. Till the time you don't have that under your control, it's very important to, so you must be on top of your business. And you must have these controls with yourself. After that, it's great to have franchise partners, because I think it's wonderful because there's someone at the store who's got a sense of ownership. Like, our restaurant is a people's business. And people's, whether manpower or whether it's, our own employees or whether it's customers. So the person sitting at the store makes a huge difference. So if your franchise partner is good, he's driven, he's, I think it's a great idea to look at that, the franchising model.
But कभी ऐसा होता नहीं है. I mean, most of when I see the franchise world, I see this, interesting dichotomy, which is, on one side you believe that a franchisee partner is very excited for your brand, excited for the store. They are putting in money, so it's a great indicator that they are not only excited, they're serious. But in reality, most of them are trying to put money, as a guaranteed some money-making scheme.
Right.
And on the franchisor side, also I see the same pattern.
Right.
Where on one side, you are excited about the fact, hey, somebody is investing on my brand and is going to expand my footprint. But I see franchisors day on day who are not very high integrity about it.
Right.
And they may believe कि अब आपने पैसा लगाया, आपने मेरे से फ्रेंचाइजी लिया, आप चलाइए इसको. And that is where I see this relationship really, like, it hits the ground before it takes off.
Yeah, correct. So I guess, what's critical is to find the right franchise partner. So you have to spend a lot of time on that. It's not only about money. If it's purely about money, then we have another model which is called a franchisee-owned company-operated stores, where they invest the money and we manage the store. But I think originally it wasn't like that. We were also beginning, for us at that time, franchising also was a big thing. But with God's grace, that's worked for us in the sense that we've had some great partners. Today, most of my franchisees are multiple store owners, So
nice.
Most of them have at least 3 to 4 stores each.
Wow.
Yeah. So which has been very nice. So we are very careful about that. And now going ahead, I think when we are doing out of Delhi and other cities, we are looking at more um, either doing our own stores or we're looking at master franchises. So in a master franchise, I think he's more invested. They have a team, they have a support team. We have a support team, and we're going regional. We're trying to cover clusters of cities. So rather than doing one random store somewhere, which also we did and made a mistake on that, but we learned from those
How do
mistakes.
you're talking about that you have to be very careful about choosing your franchisees.
Yeah.
What are the qualities that you look for in a partner, and what are the red flags? Where do you say that, okay, they may
Yeah.
be good investors,
I
not for
think
us?
a little bit of background check on the franchisee, who's going to be running the business. If it's purely a money play where they just want to invest in that, so then that model is probably different where we'll offer a FOCO store. But there are some people, they're young people, they're looking at wanting to do something, and maybe parents want to set them up, and they're young and they're this thing. So we look for some people like that, and so far we've been pretty successful. We made mistakes, but we've been reasonably successful in doing that.
Tell me one franchisee mistake that you made, and which was quite a lesson.
I think we decided to open, say, a franchise really far from, our base, which is in Delhi, and we also lack control over that. And then, and we kind of that franchisee decided to, you know, ultimately wanted to cut corners, and then when we, it just, it we reached the extent that ultimately his business suffered. And then they're not continuously investing in the brand. Maintenance was a challenge, not buying raw materials directly from us. So these were huge challenges. Ultimately we had to shut that store down. But by the time you shut the store down, it's already caused a lot of damage. So you have to be really careful. So as we've grown, we've learned from some of those mistakes. And I think now ahead, our whole vision is to, if we have to grow the franchise road, we'll probably be doing it through master franchises. So there are more skin in the game, there are more outlets, there's a corporate team. We have a team over there managing those stores. So, and of course now things are lotly different because we've got a lot of the supply chain in our control, the technology bits in our control, the POS is in our you know control. So things are much easier now.
Let's touch upon a little bit of your personal side.
Yeah.
uh, Restaurateurs generally are not very calm by nature. मेरा अपना एक्सपीरियंस बता सकता हूँ मैं. I had a restaurant for, I don't know, close to 2 years, which is where Possessed and now Restaurants was born. And I can tell you that in first year, I think I became extremely aggressive on a normal day. Like once a friend of mine from college, he visited my restaurant. I mean, I took him there in the evening, and as soon as I entered, and I started, like, I was really aggressive with some of the folks. And this was like 6, 7 months into the restaurants. I was more troubled by it rather than happy. It was not a great experience for me, at least for 6 months. उसने मुझे बाहर जब हम निकले तो उसने बोला कि यार ऐसा है, एंड आई वाज रनिंग अ टेलीकॉम कंपनी
Right.
इन द डे. सो उसने मुझे बाहर निकल के बोला कि आशीष भाई एक बात बोलूँ, व्हाट्स योर प्लान विद दिस रेस्टोरेंट? आई डोंट नो, अभी तो स्टिल ट्रबल्ड बट फिगरिंग इट आउट. ही सेड यार नहीं कर. आई सेड व्हाई? ही सेड बिकॉज मुझे ये तो नहीं पता कि रेस्टोरेंट चलेगा नहीं चलेगा, बट तू खराब हो जाएगा.
Yeah.
आई सेड व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय दैट? ही सेड डिड यू वॉच how you behaved with some of the people? I said, you don't know what these guys have done. And he said, yeah, I get it. I'm just saying that, calm down or sell this off. And that was actually a big, check for me. And I literally started watching myself like literally from next day. And I realized कि वो पिछले 6 महीने के अंदर मेरा trust on people had dwindled. My view of people, especially in the restaurant space, like I was dealing with two different sides of people, right? मैं telecom में
Yeah.
बात कर रहा था, white collar, well educated technical people. यहाँ पे मैं बात कर रहा था suddenly from a dishwasher to a, and we are not even an organized
Yeah.
restaurant, right? So I have known you for last 13 years since we started this. You came across as somebody who's very, very calm, composed, very, very nice as a human being. वो ये कैसे हुआ while being a restaurateur? And if you can take me to your early times, how have you changed as a person through the journey of being a restaurateur for last 30 plus years?
I don't know. I guess, of course, when we started, it was really, really difficult. One restaurant's the toughest thing to run. And as it grows,
I
it
agree.
becomes slightly easier because you have a team, you have support, you have people. You're not so dependent on individual people. Otherwise, at that time, we were probably being bullied by the utility worker, because the housekeeping person, to the chef, because agar ek bhi khil gaya, then you were in trouble,
हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल,
so it
मुझे
was very,
मुझे मुझे एक दिन मैंने तंदूर में जो हमारा वो
uh,
रोटी लगाता था, मैंने एक दिन उसको डांट दिया। मुझे उस रात 1 बजे मेरे रेस्टोरेंट मैनेजर का फ़ोन आता है कि भैया वो तंदूर में आपने जिसको डांटा था ना, तो वो लोग कह रहे हैं कि भैया को बोलो कल माफ़ी मांग लें, वरना रेस्टोरेंट नहीं खुलेगा। आई वाज लाइक वाओ।
yeah,
एंड आई एक्चुअली
absolutely.
टोल्ड हिम, आई सेड उसको बोलो
So
मैं
yeah,
माफ़ी मांगूंगा,
so
रेस्टोरेंट कल खुलेगा, आप खोलिए। वो अलग बात है कि हमने कल अगले दिन जाके उसका इलाज किया, बट
correct,
इट वाज
correct.
वेरी वेरी या
Correct,
बुलीड
correct,
इज द राइट वर्ड।
correct, correct. So we went through that, and then slowly over a period of time, now with God's grace, it's much easier now, and we've got a team of people. And I guess you can say, I don't know, yeah, things used to really matter a lot that time. Don't matter so much now, for some reason, whatever. And I think it's also that we've been doing it for some time, so I don't know. And I don't
What
know.
has
I just
changed? What has
enjoy.
changed in you as a person, if you reflect?
I don't know. I've always felt really blessed to be where I am. I thought, even when I had that one restaurant, because it was great opportunity for someone to start work, and there was no other choice but to put in your best effort over there, and you wanted to make it work. And I remember we used to spend so much time in the restaurant, and I yet meet people who knew me from then, and I used to be kind of standing on the door of Berco's and taking names of people, seating them, and when there were people waiting for a table, and celebrating that one day when we did a sale of 3,000 rupees on that one day, and celebrating that month when we did a lakh of rupees on that month. And it was a great journey, great fun. I really enjoyed it. It was troublesome, but I guess that was the only thing. We didn't have a choice, right? That was the only thing that I had to do at that time, because it was there and it was handed over. And at like I'd lost my father at a young age, so and I enjoyed it. I mean, actually, I just I kind of I enjoy doing whatever comes up, actually, whether it's
What's a day like in your life today?
oh, I'm really super blessed. I get up in the morning at probably up at about 4:30, and
Up at 4:30.
yeah, 5:30 I tee off
You
in
and me
the
are same.
I
I just that I sleep at
yeah, I know.
my sleeping time is
I
4:30, but
about 4 to 5 times a week I play golf at 5:30 in the morning, finish by about 7:30, and then try to get to work by about 9:30, and then yeah, that's it, and have fun after doing that.
what's work day like? What do you start
So
at 9:30?
typically,
And
we
I'll go a little,
yeah,
I'll double click
yeah,
on
yeah,
certain aspects of it. But if you can take me through today, what are the things that come to your table, or are the things that you focus on?
yeah.
Uh, you know,
So now typically I spend kind of more time, and right now, and our plan now over the next 6 months is more on kind of uh, making myself more dispensable to the business. Uh, we are creating a structure where I'm trying to little corporatize the structure, and we're building a really good team, and now we've got grace. We have built a reasonably strong team, and in the process of doing it, my aim right now and vision is right now we are at about 50 or 53 stores, and vision is right now we are not um, we don't have any loans, and we are not funded right now. It's all self-funded right now, but vision is now in the next 6 months to corporatize the structure, try and raise some capital, and then take it to the next level, and look at least two more cities, and looking at clusters of about we're looking at Bangalore and Hyderabad, and looking at about 10 odd stores in both those cities right now, and also trying to drive one or couple of states with master franchises. So that's the vision over the next um, 3 years is what I want, but next 6 months is going to be more to, to kind of build the team, corporatize the structure, and maybe for the first time raise some capital 6 months from now.
Corporatizing, corporatization of the structure which was,
Yeah,
run by, family owned businesses, or
yeah,
run by,
yeah,
somebody single
yeah,
handedly for
yeah,
such a long time,
yeah,
means letting go of control.
totally.
हाँ, कैसा लग रहा है आपको?
I'm loving it. I think it's
सच
great.
सच क्या है, मतलब
Yeah.
डर कहाँ कहाँ लग रहा है, ये बताओ.
I don't know. Right now, I'm not scared because I feel ke, I think the people we are getting probably know more than I do. So I'm kind of very happy to be kind of letting go to some extent. And I think it's the kind of need of the day. Even the kids have now joined. Both the boys have kind of grown up and they're now helping us with the structure. And I think it's very important to, at this stage, kind of um, slightly corporatize it, and we should kind of all, I would kind of rather than too many people, interfering in day-to-day operations, I would say, let the team kind of run the show, and our role is going to be more strategic from that, from that angle. Um,
What are
and I
the
think this,
areas, what are the subjects, or areas of the business you still want a very tight control on? Have you identified that already?
may not be, but I think more in terms of, more in terms of kind of delegating, some of these things, and maybe right now even finance is something that I would love to kind of
Let go.
let go of, and that is why one of the reasons why we are looking at raising capital is also to help to bring a little more kind of from rather than a family held company to a more professionally managed company. And I can see great potential in the brand kind of scaling up, and if we don't do this, it'll be very difficult for us to scale up.
You talked about your boys joining the
Yeah.
business. How old are they and what are their names?
So there's Shom and Shravan. Shom was studying in Warwick. Then he came back during COVID and decided to get into, do something with us, but do it independently. So he got into open two cloud kitchens, ran that business for about 2 years, and then realized that, he was not excited about the restaurant business and he wanted to get out of it. And he decided to leave and he joined Gartner. Uh, did that for 2 years and then got the entrepreneurial bug again and said, okay, I'd like to do something on my own. So he's joined us and he's doing his own thing, but he's kind of connected to what we do. uh, Shravan, the younger one, was in Cordon Bleu in Sydney. He did a 3-year program there and then worked for 2.5 years with Nobu, and 6 months ago come back, and he's joined us now, and he's also kind of helping to, the vision is to, he would love to kind of focus on certain areas of the business that
Hmm.
we need help to kind of structure it correctly, but I would really like even them to be out of day-to-day operations, more on the growth side, expansion side, look at that part of the business and let operations be managed by professionals. So that's the vision. I don't know where it goes.
The first one, when he joined. I mean, is
Yeah,
it? What were your feelings about he joining in and then bailing out and going out? I mean,
yeah,
out to work somewhere else, saying he
yeah, yeah.
restaurant business.
Now I was
I
very
mean,
proud of him. He had the guts to take that decision, because otherwise very easy to be in this comfort zone, right? You've
hmm,
got, this is a family business, everything's taken care of, but I was very happy that he had the guts to go take that job, and and do well there. He was really, when he left also, his employers were very happy with him, and I think it's wonderful if you have the guts, because getting into this comfort zone is the easiest for any kid to do.
sure, sure.
So I think it was a great thing that he did, and now hopefully, we run two other brands and his focus is on that right now. to scaling those brands right now. He's
Alright.
opened his own little Korean brand right now. So he does that. And we've got Silbattas, which what he's looking at scaling up now.
So, what all brands apart from Berco's you have now in the
So Berco's was the original brand. Then we started during COVID, we started a cloud kitchen model with a brand with a lower AOV from within our kitchens called House of Chow. So we've got, I think, 13 of them now. And then again, it was during COVID, we had a place, we opened one Indian restaurant in Faridabad with doing regional Indian food, which bombed. The only thing that sold in that was North Indian food. And that did very well with North Indian food, and that yet does well. Then we've opened two more of those. And we've opened, Shom's opened a Korean brand, which is out of a cloud kitchen right now. And with one of my franchise partners, we together opened Amul, who runs that store, opened Now, which is an Asian restaurant in GK2, and that's with God's grace doing well now. So, yeah,
and the one who came back from Cordon Bleu and Nobu.
Nobu, yeah.
What was his reaction to how? I mean, was it difficult to contain him? कि यार ये आप लोग क्या कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे? This is not how things are done.
Yeah.
You guys are foolish. Did you have that? Did
Yeah,
he or you have that
we
phase?
are yet going through that right now as we speak. Yeah, because he's kind of figure out that everything we're doing is not correct, and of course, you know how immediately when he came in, he felt that there were so many people in the team who've been there forever, and they were not adding value and things like that. But slowly he's settling down, and we are yet going through that phase, like you said. But good. It's new energy. It's nice to have younger people thinking, and kind of that balance is very important. And
There's this consultant I know who I think 15, 2010 he started 15 years back. He basically was a business coach.
yeah,
And one day he told me that I'm starting a new series and I think it's going to be, chartbusters. He said, I'm basically going to train the second and the third generation, especially second generation entrepreneurs joining the family business.
Yeah.
So he actually runs a course
wow,
on managing family business
nice
for the second generation.
nice.
Let me know if the second one is
I
not able
think
to come out of that.
we probably need help on that one.
In the last 15 years, I've
Yeah.
seen him
Yeah.
actually transforming a
Yeah,
lot of families and
Yeah.
basic, conflict, and not the conflict,
Yeah.
the conflict, but this
Correct.
kind of conflict, which is,
Yeah.
the new age wondering, what the previous generation has done.
Yeah.
Though both are kind of right in their own,
Yeah.
own way, and you need to find a middle ground.
I think it's very important. Like we've got there's other family in the business, and I think it's very important to after there was a time when everyone did everything, but now then we'll be kind of stepping on each other's toes, and so we don't want to probably do that. So it's very important to kind of now define what is the area that one needs to look at, and clearly day-to-day operations should be managed by professionals is what the vision is.
In the restaurant business nowadays, thanks to, I don't know, thanks to or not, but Swiggy and Zomato, brought in, and I think world is also kind of going through this revolution where deliveries became easy, more, restaurant business is kind of getting democratized, in a way, because पहले तो अगर CP में 500 लोकेशन है, let's assume 500 रेस्टोरेंट खोल सकते हैं, तो वो 500 ही है. So आपके लिए barrier to entry is to get one of those 500, and if those 500 are blocked, you're out of CP. Digital just democratized it. I can have a kitchen in any back alley.
Yeah.
And I can compete with you on the same digital platform,
Right.
Without really,
Right.
Without any barrier. It has gone through its own curve. Now, COVID was crazy time. Right after COVID was crazy. And then it is kind of going down. But at the same time, I see new restaurants, new brands spinning, by the hour. How are you looking at what's happening nowadays? And is it viable to run a business or start a business, new brand especially, purely, with a cloud kitchen and a digital model, according to you?
So I think for us, this was like a huge blessing in disguise, the delivery business. And I think, although we are having challenges with the kind of commission that Zomato, Swiggy and all charge, but I think they've created a huge opportunity for us, and this really happened during COVID, and we already started deliveries before that. Today, it's nearly contributing to nearly 35% of our business, and that's a huge amount. And it's all, really credit goes to Swiggy and Zomato for creating this opportunity for us. And I think coming back to your question on whether brands can survive on cloud, this thing, I think that's a very tough space because, to be visible today, costs a lot of money. And with the whole commissions and the structure like that, I think unless you've got a really unique offering, which there aren't those many in the market, there are always be, certain cases who really prove them successful. I would say 8 out of 10 cloud kitchen models would not be able to survive. So I think there's a huge challenge there, and it takes a lot to create a brand. It takes a lot to be visible. There's to be visible, you have to either give discounts or you have to and invest into marketing. you know and with all that, and with your overhead costs, okay, maybe maybe you have a lower rental cost, but having said that, all of the costs are all there. There's marketing costs are very high, commissions are very high, and so I think that's a challenge. But for people who have a brand and who are this thing, I think there's a huge opportunity, and the business is only going to grow. We thought after COVID our delivery business will come down, but it's only grown. So, and I think there's opportunities in smaller towns. We've opened Meerut, we've opened Dehradun, we've opened Agra. In all of them, the delivery business is only growing. It's becoming more of a habit. Ordering out is becoming a habit. People are looking for new things. I think, I think they've really been a blessings for us.
But if somebody, uh, for a dine-in store as well, the flip side of it, I'm continuously experiencing that most of the restaurants are complaining of dining,
Going down.
kind of going down, and that at times just defeats the entire model that you have.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have a diner model, and in your
Yeah.
case, it's
Correct.
my question is exactly directed at you, that your model is a certain large space, decent diner, and if the deliveries are going up consistently and dining is going down, how do you battle that? And in that case, what is the advantage a newbie has to start a store at a high street versus just a cloud kitchen? Because that's
Yeah.
the argument
Yeah.
कि जब आना 70-80% आना ही delivery है,
Hmm.
so I might as well be paying that rent, or
Yeah.
rather that marketing dollars,
Yeah.
to a Swiggy and Zomato. मैं high
Right.
street पे जाके क्या करूँ?
Right. So I think one of the things that we've learned over a period of time, of course, that now our newer stores are smaller stores. Earlier we would open 2,000 square feet, 2,500 square feet. Our newer stores are 1,200 square feet. So they are looking at. So we are being able to get about 40% of our business from delivery. Yet 60% is coming from dine-in, and I would say, somehow I find they complement each other, because when you're in a city and your brand is visible, then delivery also grows by default, vis-a-vis only depending on Swiggy and Zomato, because ultimately, it costs too much to be visible, on Swiggy and Zomato.
Sure.
But if you're on high street, then your brand's visible, people come to you, then they have an option of ordering in, for convenience. But I would say for us, uh, dine-in is, I think, a critical part of our business, because we don't. We feel only delivery for us. Whatever our experience in that has been, we yet make money a little bit on it, but it's not usually profitable for us. Unless we do multiple brands from the same kitchen. So that kind of helps us. So we've done 2-3 brands in the same kitchen. That's helped us a lot. But otherwise, for an individual operator to open only delivery, I think it's a little bit of a challenge right now. And I think the whole customer experience, and the trust for the brand, I think is also created with the whole dine-in experience, over a period of time.
Yeah, visibility on the high street can be
Is
a
always better, and then the trust is higher. The brand is visible, what it's all about. It's not, you don't there's no, you trust the food, you trust the brand, you trust the experience. On To create that trust on delivery is not the easiest thing to do.
So you have always operated in this. Uh, I will not really call it the budget category, but
Correct.
like you're not on the high end in terms of pricing, but you're not on the lower end as well, right? You're somewhere.
Yeah.
Is that the right characterization of
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
I see a lot of cloud kitchens, and I'm personally, I mean, this is my personal take. I'm a fan of digital first cloud kitchen models where you're operating in a high end of pricing
Yeah.
and you're doing like some great quality food, great
Yeah.
quality packaging, and only doing,
Correct.
delivery. Have you thought about it? What's your
Yeah.
take? And is there a
Yeah.
brand that you
So
love?
I clearly agree with you. I think if I had to bet on any delivery brand doing well on cloud kitchen, I think I would look at someone in the high end of the market. Looking at someone who's got great packaging, great food. You're being able to give that premium experience for someone who's sitting at home and ordering. And you've seen great examples of brands like. Pot Pot, Yum Yum Cha. Varun Tully's done some great brands of
Yeah.
this thing,
Noki.
and Inoki, and some of the other brands, they've done really well.
Burgerama, for example, is one of my
Yeah,
favorites in that
even
category.
as a matter of fact, Zara was Louis Burger and all that. Those are great products and great,
Yeah.
beautiful. And I think that's definitely an opportunity in the market to do that. Because again, if you can if you can keep your food cost under control, there's an opportunity. So whatever extra you're spending on marketing and all that is taken care of by a more reasonable food cost. Berco's as a brand, we've always wanted to stand for great portions, great quality at a great price. It's value for money at whatever we do. And of course, we've really really worked hard on, which we've always believed, is that you know we strongly believe that the whole like they say about Starbucks, that they don't sell coffee, they sell, it's a people's business rather than a coffee business. And I think really our food business is a people's business. We have to be, relationship management is a huge part of this thing, and that's what builds trust over a period of time. That whole being able to give that uh, that experience and that wow experience, like the day I heard an interview of uh, I think I think Warren Buffet had a very nice interview in which he spoke about delighting the customer. And you're in the business of delighting customer because experience anyone can give you,
Hmm.
and so that comes with a lot of training and a lot of talking to the people about it. And and like in because we try and we actually celebrate anyone who's done something, something to delight the customer.
How
So
do you do that? Like, what's the process
so
of that?
if of course we talk about it, and we get the managers to take it up in the briefing, and if anyone's done something special in the briefing, it's celebrated. And once a month we actually pick up all cases from across different customers, and then we celebrate that centrally, and and recognize the people who've done something special, something for someone's grandmother, something going home to someone's house to you know when they're not well, to deliver food to the house, or so many examples of people have been done some the chef doing something special for people.
I mean, how do you institutionalize this? Because this is easy to do at one restaurant or two
Yeah,
restaurant where you
yeah,
are,
yeah,
in
yeah,
charge,
yeah,
but at a 50 store or even at, let's say, 25 store,
yeah,
which are company owned,
yeah.
how do you institutionalize this
I
process?
think just constantly celebrating it, talk to people about it, and recognition. You just have to recognize what people have done and talk to others about it. They get motivated to doing it also.
Hmm.
So we've been, with God's grace, it's worked for us, and and luckily we've got employees who've been working for 40 years now. Some of my CP managers are now 40 years old, for been working with the company for 40 years. So
Wow.
we are really blessed. And we have a lot of employees which we've been able to retain over a period of time. They've also grown with us, and they started off as stewards. Today they're managers of restaurants. And
That is awesome. So
yeah,
what's the retention like? And you know, I actually wonder at times, and I see this in the Western markets already have hit them very, very hard,
yeah,
which is the current generation does not want to toil their time at the restaurants. And by that what I mean is largely hospitality business. So for
yeah,
example, entire US is right now is short of staff everywhere. I can show you restaurants in San Francisco, 120 cover restaurant, shut in dining for lunch, no staff is the reason. Kitchen चल रही है, टेक अवे डिलीवरी अवेलेबल है, पूरा डाइनिंग हॉल बंद है क्योंकि स्टाफ नहीं है, बाहर दोनों नोटिस लगे हुए हैं, डाइनिंग इज शट, लैक ऑफ स्टाफ, we
Wow.
have open positions. This is in center of the city.
Yeah.
So it is already hitting everybody hard. What's your experience and what's happening?
So, like I said, it's retention over here also is a huge challenge. Everyone who opens a new restaurant would like to take someone from from one of the existing restaurants, because they all want someone who's been trained and this thing, and they open and they pay much higher, and of course this thing. But I think over a period of time, even the team has now realized that these are short lived, and they're kind of more happy working with someone who kind of respects them and values them. And yet it is a challenge. We've been running for so many years. Today you go to most restaurants, you line someone from one of our kitchens have probably working over there, and those are challenges. But I guess now, with the whole supply chain standardized and all that, um, at the back of the house, that challenge is now relatively less. We are being able to train people fast and get them to cook, and this thing. uh, Front of the house, again, because more outlets are growing, those stewards are now becoming captains, sorry, and captains are now becoming managers. We've been able to retain, to a great extent, a lot of it, but it is a huge challenge, and it's a continuous challenge right now.
So
And
when you talked about, I mean, I asked this question because you talked about treating your guests, delighting your
yeah,
customer, and
yeah,
I strongly believe that the yesteryear's restaurants across the world,
yeah,
their biggest loyalty program
yeah,
was their staff,
yes,
right? आप enter करते हो और आपको कोई familiar face, somebody at the restaurant recognizes you and says hello,
yeah.
you're home.
Feel like a king. Yeah,
You
you
feel like a
feel
king. You're
special
home.
there.
You're back home.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
very happy. You can forgive them for all the errors today.
yeah.
Doesn't happen anymore because people are not, they're not the same people, right? How are you? So what's the method to the madness? Is the retention only way? Are you also investing in L&D, in training? Is there a structured way to do this? Because I don't see
Yeah.
a lot of brands actually investing a lot in structured training, at least as of today.
Yeah. So I think it's a kind of mix of both. Uh, Today, you can create that wow experience by one is, of course, that old employees are there, they know you, they recognize you, and we pay a lot of importance towards this whole greeting, wishing, and thanking you. That I think that first experience is very important. Smiling, I think, is critical, and we continuously talk about that whole thing. Rather than giving great service, at least just meet the person well, smile, receive them well, and at least see them off well, like you do in your old houses. When guests come to your house, you
Yes.
receive them and you'll see them off well. We continuously talk about that, so I think that is one part of it. uh, in terms of in the training also, we again keep talking about it till the time it becomes a little bit of a habit. And as far as mid-table visits are concerned, we actually have a kind of a way of actually tracking it. We this thing. And also today
How do you track that? The mid-table visit.
yeah. So typically, one of the way, of course, is mystery audits. So one of the main point mystery audit is this.
Great.
Okay, are managers and captains doing a mid-table visits? Are they thanking and visiting? So that is one of them to do it, I guess. And constantly, kind of, like I said, you have to just continuously drill it constantly till it kind of becomes a habit to do it. And uh, again, today with technology, it's really helped. People like your thing. Feedback is a huge one. We take that very, very seriously. uh, I kind of try and so we've got this dashboard which has got completely all the feedbacks, all the reviews. Try and spend at least half an hour a day on that. To actually understand One, have we replied to all of this thing, and have we, because the small tweaks are required whenever our biggest kind of tool to improve ourselves as feedback
100%.
and reviews. So
Yeah.
we kind of take that little seriously, and we have a customer care dedicated, two people sitting only on customer care, and I try and spend at least half an hour on a
But
day.
when most of the orders come from Swiggy, Zomato, I'm
Yeah,
assuming
yeah.
that most of the feedback also goes there, right?
No, also I think every time you place an order, you'll probably get a WhatsApp message from us,
But but
talking the
Swiggy and Zomato doesn't share the
no,
data.
on dine-in. On dine-in. So on delivery, the only way to kind of get it is through reviews. So we take those reviews seriously
Hmm. Hmm.
and respond to the reviews and try and do something. Unfortunately, we don't get numbers to kind of respond to them, but at least they'll get a reply from us immediately. And then we try and request for a phone number. If they share it with us, then we reach out to the guest and try and resolve this thing. We also have kind of within our restaurant, there's a 10 card over there. It's the Berco's guarantee, in the
Hmm.
sense,
Hmm.
which is for the staff that, if they cannot satisfy the customer, uh, if there's some issue, then we try and resolve the issue. We cannot resolve the issue, then we have no right to charge for that. So that we've implemented in our system. There's a 10 card on the table itself.
It says that.
It says that. It's called the Berco's guarantee.
Nice.
Yeah.
So do people call while sitting on the table?
Yeah. I mean, if there's a complaint,
They call like.
no. They'll speak to the manager.
Oh, got
And
it.
the
The
manager has
10 card
to
basically says that there is a bogus guy.
reach out to us, and
Got it.
we and that's a commitment from our side that we do. We try and enforce it also.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Especially today,
Yeah,
when options are way too many.
correct. There's
for
so
customer
much
to.
competition in the market. You cannot, you need to be, and customer ultimately, getting a new customer is really expensive. It's so much easier to retain your current customer, and I think for that, this is one thing that we do. We also build a lot. We're working very closely on our loyalty program.
Oh, you have a loyalty
We have a
program?
loyalty program, and we have. So I think there's a company called Relo which is managing our loyalty program, and we kind of every customer comes, they earn points, and we've used that more not in terms of that that this thing, but we also use it as a tool to just communicate with the customer. So you'll get
So it's
there's a desk,
your loyalty is a points earn and
point
burn,
earn and burn.
and
Yeah.
then how's it been?
So it's doing well. I think there's a lot of more work on that. Good part is we get a lot of data coming in. This is mainly for dine-in business. So we know how many customers, we know repeat customers, we know what kind of message to send to customers who've not come back. There's a way of reaching out to customers who've not come back, and of course reward the people who are coming back again and again. So it's doing well for us right now. But again, I think that's a huge opportunity. It's always work in progress, and we are trying to build on that more and more.
I think the only company that has really done their loyalty program right in the world is Starbucks.
Starbucks is doing well. As a matter of fact, I think Chayos in India has done a very good job.
Absolutely.
With that. I think
Absolutely.
they're they really
No,
cracked
absolutely.
that well.
I think after Starbucks, if
Yeah.
somebody, especially in India, if somebody has
I
done
think
that, is
Chayos
Chayos.
has done that. Yeah.
Actually, it applies to very few brands because you have to be a comfort food brand,
Right.
where you want or you're expecting your customer to visit you multiple times a month.
Yeah.
Then only that earn and burn
Correct.
can really work.
And I think it's all about today. Our business is all about marketing is one part of it, and you can spend lots of money, but there's no better marketing tool than relationship management. And I think that's really the focus for us also, is how do we continuously kind of build a connect with our customers. How do we build that relationship? Of course, it's a lot of effort, and this definitely work in progress and much more to do, this thing. But
Can you break down your cost structure for me?
Yeah.
What's your food cost from a percentage perspective? Uh, Packaging,
Yeah.
your delivery cost,
Yeah.
rent and utilities.
Yeah.
So
So
down to
typically,
EBITDA.
yeah. So typically, I think we look at about a 24% food cost. Maybe our rent is anywhere between 10 to 15%. Our labor cost is at about 14 to 15%. Our electricity and utilities about 5-6%, and we kind of look at unit level profitability of about 20%.
20.
20% at a unit level.
Got it. And that's quite healthy.
Yeah.
But what part of that are you able to achieve, and what part do you feel is where the delta?
Uh,
Because theoretical to real.
the rent is rent and labor. These are two kind of, they vary because it all depends on how well the store does. So if the store does well, we are fine with this. But whether store, if you know it's a new store or it's going to take time to this thing, these costs of labor and rent as a percentage of total sale, that varies. So that could be much higher if we don't achieve those kind of sales. Rest, as far as commissions, those are, they're all kind of related to the sale itself. And food cost is again more or less kind of related to the sale. It could vary 2 or 3% if the sale is not that much, but otherwise we are more or less. But these two figures are something that could vary based on sale.
When I see theoretical versus real, I see quite a delta. Like recently I was
Yeah.
talking to someone, and the guy said my theoretical food cost is 22 to 28%, but my actual food cost is coming out to be 35 to 40%. And I see this kind of delta almost everywhere. I'm not talking about only
Correct.
food cost, but in
Correct.
general, like let's say you said
Correct.
20% EBITDA,
Correct.
or 20% unit level
Yeah.
margin. I generally see people oscillating between 5 to 8% unit level margin in practice.
Yeah.
Theoretically, they're also at 22.
Yeah.
Do you see that happening?
That's absolutely true, right? It really depends on the sale. If there are older stores and they're this thing, or the rent is under control, so these are things. But these are all work really depends on certain amount of sale that you can achieve. Then you'll achieve these figures. But like I said, if there's a store doing a sale of 20 lakhs of rupees and versus a store doing 30 lakhs of rupees, that whole thing changes, because then the rent as a proportion to the total sale and salary as a proportion to total sale, those vary. But we are talking about a sale of a unit which is profitable and doing well. This is the kind of benchmark. Of course, it varies from store to store. Some could be a little better also. Some, there's always a challenge. New stores, especially, new stores, the labor cost and rent as a proportion total sale could be as high as 30% also.
As high as 30.
Because it's the
sale
sale is
is
not.
But then I will
it's
not really
related.
call it the percentage is high. I will just say that the store
Sale
is doing bad.
It's a transition till it doesn't touch those figures and all that. So, but this is the ideal one which we are.
Have you
working
shut down restaurants?
Yes, we've opened some wrong locations. We've shut them down. We've opened some wrong franchise stores. We've shut those down. But
What
those are the
franchisee, I understand, but for your own location, and this is something that I'm asking as an entrepreneur in general as well.
Yeah.
My dad always tell me
Yeah.
कि एंट्री करने में कोई बहादुरी नहीं है, एग्जिट प्रॉब्लम है, राइट? जब व्हेन वी वर टीनेजर्स, माय कजिन्स, एंड तो अगर वो कभी भी मेरे डैड को आके बोलते थे मेरे को गाड़ी चलानी आ गई, you're just learning car and you're enthralled about it. My dad always used to ask them, रोक नहीं आई? And this was a joke.
Yeah.
But I realized later the depth in it, because he's a stock market guy. So he basically says कि यार हर कोई मुझसे एंट्री की टिप मांगता है, हर कोई मुझसे पूछता है कि आप कोई शेयर बता दो खरीदने के लिए, बेचने की टिप कोई नहीं मांग रहा है. तो प्रॉफिट बेचने पे होएगा, खरीदने का तो कोई पॉइंट ही नहीं है. So I also have struggled with this as an entrepreneur, where you start a project or you start something, you don't know when to pull out. You don't know when to say कि okay, this is enough, let's leave, and you generally wait till the damage is too much. For a new restaurateur, for somebody who's aspiring to have a chain, and I'm sure first 5 restaurants, at least 60% is going to go wrong for various different reasons of wrong choice. When do you, what's the way for you to say okay, this is enough, this is when we write off all the expense? And
so depending on the location, again, if it's a location where we've gone in early and we see that future is going to do very well over there, irrespective of that, if my store, typically for me the cutoff is clearly, if we lose money, even a small amount of money, 6 months we shut the store down.
6 months.
6 months. but we'll wait for 6 months. We may lose money
But
for
but
6 months.
you lose money on what? Is it only sales, or I mean, is it what all parameters tell you when you say that
Yeah,
future भी अच्छा हो सकता है वहाँ पे?
correct.
कौन से parameters हैं जो hard parameters हैं? After that you say कि यार यहाँ नहीं चलेगा. Let's move on.
Sales.
But
Yeah,
is it only the numbers, or is it quality of customers? Let's say it's a new mall. See,
yeah,
I see this in the mall locations
yeah,
most of the time,
yeah,
right? It's an overcrowded mall.
yeah,
Footfall is high.
yeah,
Mall is doing well
yeah,
optically,
yeah,
right? But practically, when you open a store
yeah,
there,
yeah,
it's not converting to as
correct.
much
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah.
How do you?
It's a
How?
trend, right? You can see the future. You see it's at least growing. It's not kind of staying, but you see suddenly, footfall declining, and we opened some stores where all the big brands have opened, and we say, yeah, unhone homework kiya hoga, what do we need to use our brains? Just, piggyback
Which
on
is
that.
actually most of the times
Yeah,
what
we
happens,
do
right?
that and we piggyback on that. But even they've gone wrong and we've also gone wrong with that. But we see the trend. If that trend, the mall is kind of declining, then we try and we because it's ours is, like I said, we are not we don't have loans and we are not a funded company. So we try and we are very conservative in our approach. We may make less money, but we'll try and at every store level try and be profitable.
Yeah, that's a big one, and I
Yeah,
think every time you say we don't
yeah,
have loans and we
uh,
are not funded,
yeah,
I feel that
yeah.
some restaurant owner watching this is crying, because it is a tough business, and I know
Yeah, it's
people who have taken both
correct.
are
It's a
quite
very tough business.
are
Yeah.
struggling quite a bit.
And really, when you have to use so much of energy on that side of the business, there's less energy left towards actually driving the growth, driving the business, that passion. And this business, till the time you're not really passionate about the business now, it's a tough business because, at least for someone who has one or two stores, you have to do everything yourself. So it's a really tough business. And on top of it, if you're not making money, then it's, it's really a super tough business to be in. On the other hand, it's a super business to be in because you're it's a you have an opportunity of making so many people happy. You have a people of connecting with people. Like I tell all my employees, that today, the only way to kind of keep yourself happy is trying to keep people around you happy. And most people in most offices don't have much of an opportunity, but because we are in the restaurant and a customer facing
Yeah,
business, we are sitting on a huge opportunity to do that. And I think we are blessed to be in this business because we had that opportunity to do it. But we try and do.
आपने बीच में aggregators के लिए you started by saying that Swiggy and Zomato have built this great opportunity,
Yeah,
and 35-40% of the business that is coming is
thanks to them. Yeah,
yeah. Uh, but I hear a lot of restaurateurs and industry in general, talk a lot negative, about aggregators. Generally, when you, at least, let's say if you Google right now, 99% stuff that you will read online, it will feel like that the industry is at loggerheads with them.
yeah.
What's your take as a restaurateur? What do you understand about that conflict, and what do you feel? Uh, you know,
See, I think what's important is that I think both Swiggy and Zomato have to we have to understand their costs and things like that, but they have to be little more transparent, and they should not be not too much in terms of there's this whole attitude of constantly increasing. I know that they also have to be profitable,
hmm.
but on the other hand, they should not have this strong arm tactics with with people, and ultimately they have to work together with the industry to grow, and to make it a win-win situation for both. And uh, I think we should for for small operators, if they have to pay these kind of commissions and all, I mean ultimately they'll get wiped out.
I actually wonder at times there are three components to aggregators. Generally, and I wonder most of the times why, why is industry only talking about commissions? What about the other two? So there
Yeah,
is one component which is commissions, which is quite visible in your face. And the second one is a little invisible, but it's still there, which is marketing
yeah,
that you have to do on the
correct.
platform, your
Yeah, yeah,
CPC, etc.
yeah,
And then there is a third one, which at times I feel is almost invisible. I don't know why, which is the discounts that you have to give participating in various different campaigns which aggregator is running, and not it's not
Yeah.
not your campaign, right? Or these 50% flash sales and BOGO
Yeah.
weeks and whatnot,
Yeah.
right? Aggregated all three, I think, is a huge percentage. I don't even know
Huge.
if there is if there's a number that I know of
Yeah.
it, but I understand
Yeah.
that it's huge.
It's huge.
Do you think it's commissions when aggregators need to work with the restaurateurs? When you said that, is it only that, or how do you look at this deep discounting? Because I personally feel that it has trained Indian audience for the wrong. One is that we are a country
Yeah.
of discount lookers, because इकोनॉमिक prosperity एज अ डेवलपिंग नेशन हमारी
Yeah.
कम थी, तो हम ऑटोमेटिकली वहीं जा रहे थे जहाँ पे पैसा बचता था. पर अब ट्रेनिंग, जो बिहेवियरल ट्रेनिंग है, वो और नीचे चली गई है
Yeah.
बिकॉज ऑफ द योर इंस्टेंट ग्रेटिफिकेशन, योर विनिंग that 50% off
Yeah.
immediately. Where do you stand on that, and why does industry not talk about these two and keep only talking about
See,
commissions?
I think the other two have been created by ourselves. We as industry only have done it, and we've, whenever you put in money, you opened a cloud kitchen. If it's not doing sell, you get desperate and you'll want to, you have to meet your overheads. You have to make some money, so you'll do anything to achieve that. I really don't believe Zomato and Swiggy are too much at fault at that side. But the point is that they have to also to look at the industry as a whole, they have to balance that situation. Should not be encouraging too much of, that part of it, which they probably do. Uh, on the other hand,
but they
again,
but they can encourage that, no? उस
uh,
जोमेटो स्विगी को
उनको
प्लेटफॉर्म फी में आपसे 2 रुपए बनाने हैं.
that's
अब
the
आप 300 रुपए पे
yeah
150 का डिस्काउंट दो या नहीं दो,
yeah
उसको तो 2 रुपए आएंगे. तो देर
no, they
देर
will probably get more because even on that,
commission
they'll
to,
get commission anyway
I
on
mean,
that
I'm
one.
discounting commissions
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
understand even they lose money on commissions after
correct,
a point because
correct.
of
Yeah,
whatever logistics cost
yeah,
they have, right?
yeah,
When you see their both are public companies now,
right,
so when you see their financials, you
yeah,
actually see that they are also losing money.
right,
Restaurateur is also losing money,
yeah,
and platform fee is actually now coming
yeah,
to rescue at least for them,
yeah,
and that's where the conflict deepens,
right,
because now I make whatever 2 rupees, 5 rupees, 10 rupees, irrespective of what you make or what your number is or
yeah,
what the
yeah,
end consumer gets.
yeah. So I guess, see, like, one to each brand is own, and they have to you have to protect your and understand up to well you can give a discount and all that. But I think in the long run, brands are not created with discounts. Brands are created more with trust, with some kind of loyalty, and providing the right product at the right price. And I think discounts and all that is very short term way, and it's like a slow cancer. Slowly, the brand will also get destroyed. You will trouble competition also till the time you don't get fully destroyed.
Correct.
But I think that is why I strongly believe a balance between delivery and dine-in is very important. You need to balance this act because either one of them, is not going to really work for you. And that's how you create brands, you create trust. It's this thing. And as far as visibility is concerned, like I again said, it's rather than spending money on visibility on these platforms, if you have a dine-in store, you're more visible already. So you rather invest that money into that visibility, even if you have to pay a little rent or a little extra rent on that place. So that balance from for me, I believe in the long run, that's the combination that's going to work. Maybe a
Do
smaller
you
format.
at a corporate level, I'm just curious, attribute some percentage of your each store rental as a marketing cost?
We attribute a certain part of our total sale towards marketing stock, not rental.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
some attribution should ideally go towards branding or marketing
Yeah, it
also, no?
should be, but we don't do that. We keep a certain percentage of the total sale towards marketing cost. But yeah, we don't. I mean, like if this store is visible, like at the airport or something, and that's equal to some marketing cost, we kind of don't look at it like that.
My last one,
Yeah,
on this, your both your boys are now joining or have
yeah,
already joined the business, and as a restaurateur, um, you know life is tough from generally from a socially, it's not. It actually can take a hit. It was true in the yesteryears. It is
Yeah.
definitely true when you're small. Let's say even under 10 stores.
Yeah.
Um, I see restaurateurs have had a life where they were busy on the days when the world is social,
Yeah.
because people are socializing at their restaurant, so they don't have the time. Did you ever think that, oh damn, my two boys should not join this business, and should actually have a life outside of the restaurant industry, and somebody in the family should be sane? Or are
Yeah.
you, what are your feelings about this?
Now I'm kind of really bullish on this business, and I think we are sitting on a great opportunity. The brand is known, it's visible. India is a great story, I think, right now.